Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mila. You're at my book nerd, and today we are doing the long-awaited. I actually filmed this video once already, but something was weird with the coloring of it, and whatever I was doing on my computer wasn't really helping with the like post-production coloring. Anyways, so today we are doing this is the announcement video for the first 6 months of 2025 and the book club picks for each month. Now, if you're new, hello, I run the Musaeum Society Book Club over on Discord. I also have an Instagram, which I haven't really updated, but I'm hoping to do that for 2025, which is what I say every year since I've made this book club. But basically, this is like the chillest book club you will ever join. There is absolutely no pressure to read like literally any of the books. If you read one book out of the dozen or so that I pick, then cool, good job, good on you. If you read all of them, awesome. If you read half of them, great. If you read half and you DNF some of them, that's also perfectly fine. I try to make this as inclusive as possible. And with that being said, let us get into it. So, as I said, I have the Discord. Sorry, my glasses are like really dirty and it's really bothering me. But I have a Discord, so if you'd like to join, it'll be down in the description below. And if you are curious as to what sort of entails me picking a book up and choosing it for the book club, I don't really do polls. I'm like, I choose the books, which is not something that a lot of people do in their book clubs, but I just, I don't get the traction. I don't get the responses, and there are certain books that I want to read during certain months and stuff. So, if you'd like to see previous years, for example, last year and I think the year before, I may have like a last 6 months of the year video or something similar. I'll have them linked down below and you can check out all the other books that we've read in the previous years. Now, the thing is, I haven't read all the books for this year. I read only some of them, and I also have a story graph for each year, and I believe the story graph is live for this year. And like 2024, I only read 5 prompts out of 16. The reason why it's 16 and not 12 is because for some months there are going to be 2 books, for others it's going to be 1 book, because that's the vibe. That's the way it is around here. So let's get to it. For January, we have 2 books. Now, I try to also pick books that like have come out like the previous months for the next month, you know what I mean? So for January, it's hard to pick a book that's like published in January in the month of, because then it takes a while for it to come through the library or the pre-order and all that stuff. So for January, both the books that I chose have been published already. They're out right now as you're seeing this video as well, so you can go put on your, hold, you can go buy them and all that stuff. So they were published in October. Different days in October, but October, both of them. So we'll just get into it and I will tell you sort of the dates that they were published and all that stuff. So the first book we have is Sargasso by Sophie Burnham. This was published on October 8th, 2024. And this is the synopsis. An unlikely group of rebels are ready to burn down the empire in the first book in a new speculative trilogy that explores gender, sexuality, and oppression within an empire teetering on the brink of rebellion. Told from multiple POVs, a young heiress, an undercover spy, a bastard brother, and a fugitive who has history with all three, Sargasso equal parts political intrigue, queer romance, and revolution. And if those aren't the best buzzwords, I don't know what to tell you. Here's the general synopsis, actually. Those were just like the elevator pitches. Sela Kleos is 22 years old. Peace out. Woo! Shout out 22 years old me. And suddenly one of the most important women in the empire. The role of imperial historian is her birthright, something she's been preparing for since birth, but she was supposed to have more time to learn the role from her father, the previous historian. In the wake of her father's sudden and shocking assassination, Stella finds herself custodian of more than just the imperial archives, the towering central library that safeguards all collective knowledge of the Roman Imperium and its client empires. There's also the question of the two puzzling classified items her father left in her care: an ancient atlas filled with landscapes that don't exist, and a carved piece of stone that seems to do nothing at all. Soon, though, it becomes clear that the Ivaroa stone is more than just a slab of rock. With the appearance of an old lost love who's been blackmailed into stealing it for an unknown entity, Stella finds herself in a race to uncover the mystery the stone holds. But she isn't the only one with an interest in it. She'll have to contend with the deputy chief of police, an undercover spy, and her own beloved half-brother along the way. What begins as an act of atonement and devotion ultimately pulls her into the crosshair of deep state conspiracy, the stirrings of an underground independence movement, and questions that threaten to shake the foundational legitimacy of Roma Sargasso's past, present, and future. So I'm guessing this is very much based off of Roman Empire-esque, because of all the empires and Roman Imperium, like, doi. I don't know what Sargassa is. Like, is that just, like, the title of, like, the place? Anyways, I don't know. We will see. We will get the answers once we read the book, hopefully. The next book we have for January is Blood of the Levant by Abdullah Yusuf. This was published on October 29th, 2024, and this is actually from a very small publisher called Shahrazad something. Books? Publishing? Shelves. Shahrazad Shelves, I think. And I cannot find an ebook copy on Kobo, and it's making me really upset because I don't have a Kindle, so I don't want to give my money and buy a Kindle, and I don't want to. I know there's a way to, like, get the book onto the Kobo, but, like, I'd rather just, like, buy it outright. Oh my god, there's, like, this one thing on my glasses that's, like, really pissing me off. I don't know what it is. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. My glasses have been, like, ticking me off so much. So, this is another one. This is fantasy. Both of these are fantasy, and I believe they're both adult fantasy, if I am not mistaken. Oh my gosh, go away. Okay, so Blood of the Levant by Abdullah Yusuf, and my computer's going to die. Tell me, seer of the hearts that lie intertwined. As a century of war and bloodshed closes upon the earth, another opens with no end to the slaughter in sight. The world is changing. The Empire of Europa and the Russian Tsardom are engaged in perpetual warfare. Each vies for absolute control over the earth's most coveted resource, the ichor ore that lies deep in the valleys of the high north, the caves of the Orient, and running through the veins of a select few called ichor hearts, employed by the European Empire as the holy weapons of their never-ending contest. Conquest. Omar is one of those born with that gift, a Muslim boy from the Syrian village of Deir ez-Zor, a fertile land vassal to Europa. He dreams of a life beyond the extent of his modest living with his mother, to discover what it means to be a true warrior in a world the stories of which leave him in constant awe. When struck by an unfathomable violation and tragedy, it sets him on a path that reveals destruction, love, and the most brutal test of his faith imaginable. On the other side of the eternal war is the Russian prince Yuri Romanov. A boy like Omar, haunted by nightmares and visions of his greatest fears, he fights to unravel the mystery of his origin and is willing to do whatever it takes to reach the truth behind the loss of those he loved most. In Abdullah Yusuf's first installment of Ichor Hearts, Blood of the Levant is an adventure that blends the eruption of ancient men in a modern, ever-changing world. Their desires, love, cruelty, and connection with God clash with the ebb and flow of their political world that sees such men as their tools of destruction. It is a story about the bonds between men at war, kingship, fatherhood, and the struggle to retain one's faith in the face of ever-growing darkness at the hand of tyrants. I'm so excited for this one. I have to figure out how to get this on my Kobo. And February. So we also have 2 books for February. Now, if you saw my Instagram post with all the things, you didn't, because I realized that one of the books was published later than I thought it would, so I chose it for the wrong month. Anyways, just trust me. Focus on this one. Focus on this video. This has all the up-to-date information. For February, we have 2 books. One is a YA fantasy, and the other is a classic. So let's get to it. The YA fantasy is The Breath of the Dragon by Fonda Lee and Shannon Lee. And yes, this is Fonda Lee that wrote the Greenbone Saga, and Shannon Lee is actually the daughter of Bruce Lee, which is insanely cool, I think. So it is going to be published on January 7th, 2025. And here is the synopsis. 16-year-old Jun dreams of proving his worth as a warrior in the elite Guardians tournament held every 6 years to entrust this magical scroll of Earth to a new protector. Eager to prove his skills, Jun hopes that a win will restore his father's honor, righting a horrible mistake that caused their banishment from his home, mother, and twin brother. But Jun's father strictly forbids him from participating. There is no future in honing his skills as a warrior, especially considering Jun is not birthmarked, born with a patch of dragon scales and blessed with special abilities like his twin. Determined to be the next guardian, Jun stows away in the wagon of Chang and his daughter Ren, performers on their way to the capital where the tournament will take place. As Jun competes, he quickly realizes he may be fighting for not just a better life, but the fate of the country itself. Really excited to read this one with you guys, as I say for all of them. And the classic that we will be reading is a chunker. It is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. If you don't know, this is a novel by a French author, Alexandre Dumas. He's very known for his The Count of Monte Cristo, as well as The Three Musketeers with D'Artagnan. And I only can tell you about the Barbie Three Musketeers movie, which I think is plausible. I think I think that counts, right? So I will give you the synopsis regardless, because some might not know, and that's okay. We listen and we do not judge. The epic tale of wrongful imprisonment, adventure, and revenge in its definitive translation. So I actually am using the Penguin Classics translation. I forget who it's, like Robin something. I think something Robin is the translator. Editing Mila, I think, will take care of telling you who the translator is. As she usually does. Maybe she won't. I don't know. Thrown in prison for a crime he has not committed, Edmond Dantes is confined to the grim fortress of If. There he learns of a great hoard of treasure hidden on the Isle of Monte Cristo, and he becomes determined not only to escape, but also to use the treasure to plot the destruction of the three men responsible for his incarceration. Dumas's epic tale of suffering and retribution, inspired by a real-life case of wrongful imprisonment, was a huge popular success when it was first serialized in the 1840s. So, very excited to read that one with you guys. March. We have one book for March, and that is A Language of Dragons by S.F. Williamson. And this is giving Babel, but with dragons and set in, like, London. Every act of translation requires sacrifice. Welcome to Bletchley Park with Dragons. London, 1923. Dragons soar through the skies and protests erupt on the streets, but Vivian Featherswallow isn't worried. She's going to follow the rules, get an internship studying dragon languages, and make sure her little sister never has to risk growing up third class. By midnight, Viv has started a civil war. With her parents arrested and her sister missing, all safety Viv has worked for is collapsing around her. So when a lifeline is offered in the form of a mysterious job, she grabs it. Arriving at Bletchley Park, Viv discovers that she has been recruited as a codebreaker helping the war effort. If she succeeds, she and her family can all go home. Again. If she doesn't, they all die. At first, Viv believes that her challenge of discovering the secrets of a hidden dragon language is doable. But the more she learns, the more she realizes that the bubble she's grown up in isn't as safe as she thought. And eventually, Viv must ask, what war is she really fighting? An epic, sweeping fantasy with an incredible dark academia setting, a clandestine, slow-burn enemies to lovers romance, and an unputdownable story filled with twists and turns, betrayals, and secret identities. A Language of Dragons is an unmissable debut of 2025 from an extraordinary new voice. Now, I don't remember, I didn't put the the release date. My bad. It is due to release on January 2nd, 2025. As far as Google will tell me, I'm not sure if that's the UK date or if that's the US date, but hoping that's both of them. So very excited for that one. Dragons translation, I love that. And for April, we have one book, ? Wow, I definitely didn't double check that it's all the same across the board. My bad, guys. Give me a second. I did not check because something shifted. No, okay. April is one book, and that is, drumroll please, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. If you have not read The Hunger Games, have you been living under a rock? Go read The Hunger Games before we have to read Sunrise on the Reaping. And read A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, because I feel like that will still give a lot. I think that's important to read them all, actually. Important. Genuinely important. Okay, Sunrise on the Reaping. When you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for? As the day dawns on the 50th annual Hunger Games, fear grips the districts of Panem. This year, in honor of the Court of Quell, twice as many tributes will be taken from their homes. I'm so sorry for the lighting. The sun decided to make its presence known, and so the lighting is now a little bit weird, but that's okay. It's okay. Back in District 12, Hamish Abernathy is trying not to think too hard about his chances. All that he cares about is making it through the day and being with the girl he loves. When Hamish's name is called, he can feel all his dreams break. He's torn from his family and his love, shuttled to the capital with the 3 other District 12 tributes. What is the synopsis? What's going on? A young friend who's nearly a sister to him, a compulsive oddsmaker, and the most stuck-up girl in town. As the game begins, Hamish understands he's been set up to fail, but there's something in him that wants to fight, and have that fight reverberate far beyond the deadly arena. Woo! We're almost at the end. I need to drink some water because I've been talking for so long. Oh my god. So, in May, it is my birthday month, although I have to wait for the whole month for it to be my birthday. And basically, we are reading 2 books. One is Mother of Rome, and the other Daughter of Chaos. And I will give you the synopsis for Mother of Rome by Lauren J.A. Baer. A powerful and fierce reimagining of the earliest Roman legend, the twins Romulus and Remus, mythical founders of history's greatest empire, and the woman whose sacrifice made it all possible. The names Romulus and Remus may be immortalized in map and stone and chronicle, but their mother only exists only as a preface to her son's journey. The princess turned oath-breaking priestess, condemned to death alongside her children. But she did not die, she survived, and so does her story. Beautiful, royal, rich, Rhea has it all, until her father loses his kingdom in a treacherous coup, and she is sent to the Order of the Vestal Virgins to ensure she will never produce an heir. Except when mortals scheme, gods laugh. Rhea becomes pregnant, and human society turns against her. Abandoned, ostracized, and facing the gravest punishment, Rhea forges a dangerous deal with the divine, one that will forever change the trajectory of her life and her beloved land. To save her sons and reclaim their birthright, Rhea must summon nature's mightiest force, a mother's love, and fight. All roads may lead to Rome, but they began with Rhea Silvia. That is such a banger of a line. All roads lead to Rome, but they began with Rhea Silvia. Banger. And the other book is Daughter of Chaos by A.S. Webb. For mortals to be free, the gods must fall in the sweeping epic fantasy debut. In ancient Greece, mortals suffer under the tyranny of the gods, forced to sacrifice the food they depend on, their worldly possessions, and even each other at the whims of the 12. But an ancient prophecy speaks of hope of one who will set humankind free. On the island of Naxos, Danae, a fisherman's daughter, develops strange power tied to a mysterious tree bearing golden fruit. Driven from her home, she seeks guidance from the oracle but finds only more questions, and whispers of a secret network of believers who have long been waiting for her arrival. Determined to learn more, Danae joins forces with the legendary Heracles and his crew. Together they battle monsters and gods alike on a quest to the end of the world as Danae seeks the one who holds the key to her destiny. But a terrifying truth is yet to be unlocked, a truth that could destroy the world as she knows it. Danae must choose to follow her destiny or her heart, while the fate of humanity rests on her shoulders. Okay, so for June, we also have 2 books, and the first book is The Floating World by Axio, which is a YA, and the second book is A Song of Legends Lost by M.H. Aynd, which is an adult fantasy. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if I am not. So, with Axio's book, let me read you the synopsis. From Axio, the New York Times bestselling author of The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, Final Fantasy meets Shadow and Bone in this romantic fantasy reimagining the Korean legend of celestial maidens. Suno lives in the underworld, a land of perpetual darkness, and as a soldier he can remember little of his life from before 2 years ago when he woke up alone with only his name and his sword. Now he does odd jobs to scrape by until he comes across the score of a lifetime. A chest of coins for any mercenary who can hunt down a girl who wields silver light. Meanwhile, far to the east, Ren is a cheerful and spirited acrobat traveling with her adoptive family and performing at villages. But everything changes during one of their festival performances when the village is attacked by a horrific human-like demon. In a moment of fear and rage, Ren releases a blast of silver light, a power she has kept hidden since childhood, and kills the monster. But her efforts are not in time to prevent her adoptive family from suffering a devastating loss, or to save her beloved uncle from being grievously wounded. Determined to save him from succumbing to the poisoned wound, Ren sets off over the mountains where the creature came from, and from where Ren herself fled 10 years ago. Her path sets her on a collision course with Suno, who doesn't realize she's the girl that he and 100 other swords for hire is looking for. As the two grow closer through their travels, they come to realize that their pasts and identities are far more intertwined than either of them could have imagined. I'm really excited for this one. I have to read her, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, but I'm really excited for this one. Wow, it is. I'm so sorry. It just got really bright. Thank you. What the heck? What the heck is this? What is this behavior? So the next one I have, the last book of this video, is A Song of Legends Lost by M.H. Aynd, apologize. It is an adult fantasy, and there's not much, but this is what we have. The first book in the series, A Song of Legends Lost, will be published in spring 2025 and launches a gripping tale of revenge and rebellion in a vividly drawn world inspired by multiple pre-colonial cultures. In the 9 lands, only those of noble blood can summon the spirits of their ancestors to fight in battle. But when Temi, a commoner from the slums, accidentally invokes a powerful spirit, she finds it could hold the key to ending a centuries-long war. But not everything that can be invoked is an ancestor, and some of the spirits that can be drawn from the ancestral realm are more dangerous than anyone can imagine. So, sorry. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you will join our Discord if anything seems interesting. I hope you will read these books regardless of whether I'm telling you to read them. Because, diversify your bookshelves, guys. It's a good thing to have in general as a lifelong goal, not just a yearly goal. And the aim of the Musaeum Society Book Club is to we mainly read fantasy, sometimes we read classics as well, but I do want to highlight, diverse voices as well as debut authors, and just books that sound interesting to me in general, which primarily come from, authors of marginalized communities, authors of different ethnic backgrounds, authors who are not white, not Western European at least, and not American or Canadian. Indigenous authors, obviously I will definitely check them out and everything, but as far as whiteness goes, primarily focusing on non-white authors, so BIPOC. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As usual, like, comment, subscribe, check out all the links down below as well as my socials. If you enjoyed this video, Make sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell notification to be notified every time I post, and I will see you in the next one. Happy reading!